welcome back to my channel. This will be the only time you catch me in pigtails ever on this channel, probably, because whenever I wear them, boys, men, whatever you want to call them, tend to be gross, so really not into that kind of attention. So enjoy the pigtails while they last. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss Donald Trump's impeachment and a couple of things. We have a Florida senator who decided to go into a committee that he is not, I repeat, not a member of, and it is a closed-door committee, meaning that if you are not a member of that, you are not welcome in there, and then tried to play a little like, they're not letting Republicans in, and we're going to explain that. Then we're going to talk about the process of impeachment, because people don't seem to understand that you can have an impeachment inquiry without a vote on the floor, and I'm getting a little sick and tired of people talking about that and not understanding it, so we're going to talk about it here. Then we're going to talk about how Donald Trump is reacting to it, how it's going badly for him, and no matter what he says, it's not going to end the way he thinks it's going to end. History has a tendency to repeat itself, and it's definitely doing that here. So yeah, that's today's hot topic, and let's just go ahead and jump right on into it. Okay, so let's start with Matt Gaetz. He would be the congressman that decided to go into a closed-door meeting or a closed-door interview for one of the diplomats, and he was kicked out of that, and then he made a huge media spectacle of it and was like, how dare the Dems sit there and act like I can't be in here, and they're not letting Republicans do this, and they're doing it behind closed doors, and this isn't proper procedure. Okay guys, for those of you who saw that and listened to Fox News and then come here and rage watch, and I know there are quite a few of you, hi, how you doing? Let me explain something to you and how this works. The closed door committees are only for the people in those committees, meaning that if it is a House Judiciary Committee, which I think is what he is on, and that was not his, or if it is the House Financial Means and Gains Committee, those are the ones that are allowed to sit in those closed door meetings and ask questions. There are Republicans, there are Democrats. Yes, Democrats lead it and chair it because they are the majority. When Republicans are the majority, they let it. But they are still giving an opportunity for Republicans to ask questions, for Republicans to sit in and have whatever they want to talk about when it is their turn to talk if they are a member of that committee. Matt Gaetz is trying to make a scene, trying to change the narrative, and trying to trick you into thinking that there are no Republicans in there. There are Republicans in there. Matt Gaetz is a puppet for Donald Trump. It was theater. It was political theater. That's all it was. Please stop buying into this crap. This is a kid who got his seat through his daddy, who has gotten out of multiple DUIs through his daddy. He is not reputable. He's a spoiled little brat, just trying to make a scene and have a hissy fit. Just ignore him. Move on. He is dumb. Now, as for the whole, like, well, if they had the votes, they should just go ahead and do it. I happen to agree somewhat and somewhat not. I don't entirely think Nancy Pelosi has all the votes that she wants, which is why she's partially holding off on it. I think that she could definitely get it. Like, she could get, and it could go from impeachment inquiry to he will be impeached in the House. If she pulled a vote today, I'm pretty sure she would get enough Democrats to get an impeachment, to impeach the president. He would be impeached. But she doesn't only want Democrats. I think she's going more for a bipartisan thing, and she also wants to build up as much evidence as possible as to why she's impeaching him. Although, yes, impeachment is a political process. It is done in Congress. It's always going to be a political process. She's doing it correctly. And I don't agree with Nancy Pelosi on a lot of things. I don't think she's a lot of spine. I think she waited too long. Personally, she had him on the Mueller report, in my opinion, and she needs to grow a spine and actually use that, because that information is extremely damning. But and people are gonna be like, well, why isn't she using that? And it is, I don't understand that, because it's definitely extremely damning. But she does want a bipartisan kind of vote, and I think that she also wants as much evidence to be released as possible as to what he did. And no matter how much Donald Trump tries to stonewall and do other things, which we will talk about in just a second, they're still going to get the information that they need. They are still going to be releasing the transcripts. They are still going to be making it public. People also don't understand that this part is not the trial part. This is like the cops. Literally, this is them investigating. So this is like the cops going over to, let's say I murdered my husband. I love my husband. I'm not going to murder my husband, but let's say I murder my husband. He does something really irritating and I murder him. And the police are investigating and they're like, we want your input on the investigation. We want to tell you what we're looking at and how we're planning on bringing a case to you. No, no, they're not going to tell you the evidence that they're gathering and the people that they're interviewing. They're not going to let you sit in on that. They're going to gather their evidence and then they're going to present it to you, and then they're going to present it to a grand jury, which would basically be what the impeachment itself would be. It would be kind of like a grand jury voting that there is enough information to then convict not to convict, but to bring a trial, which is what the Senate will hold. And we're going to talk about a letter being passed around the Senate in a different video, possibly not today, but soon. And then the Senate will hold a trial, and that is where Trump gets his due process, where he gets to interview people, he gets all the evidence presented to him, and he gets to present his case. He does not get to present his case during the investigation part. So no matter how much he tries to twist that, and I know a lot of people don't understand it or how the Constitution works, that's not how it works. The President of the United States is a motherfucking idiot. And yeah, all right. Now, the next part is how people are turning on the president. You had 3 ambassadors that testified this week that laid out an absolutely damning case from the pieces that are being released. You have the former ambassador from the Ukraine, former Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her last name right, testified in front of the House and the House committee, and stated that she was kicked out of her position by pressure from President Trump and his former, well, he's not his former, his lawyer. He's going to be his former lawyer soon. I'm preparing to say former, but he's going to be his former lawyer soon because he's going to jail. But pressured him to fire her because she was getting in the way of what they were trying to do. And he was also getting away, and she was getting in the way of those 2 associates of Rudy Giuliani who were arrested earlier this week. And I will discuss that in a different video. And so there's damning evidence there. Then you have the former ambassador, or no, not even former, is he still the ambassador to the UN? I think he still is. The former ambassador to the EU, to the European Union, and who had absolutely no business being involved in the Ukraine, considering the Ukraine is not part of the European Union or NATO or any of that. And he was testifying that he was told to report to Rudolph Giuliani, and that they were running things through Rudolph Giuliani. Both these ambassadors testified against Trump's strict orders not to testify, which shows where it is cracking, where people are not going to get caught up in his crap, which is really cool. Then you have Donald Trump, who is coming out with these things where he's like, nothing to see here, nothing to see here, nothing, keep moving, nothing to see here, witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt. It's not a witch hunt. You asked Ukraine to investigate Hunter Biden, which has been debunked. Don't get me wrong, Hunter Biden should not have been in Ukraine. I'm going to admit to that. He had no business on that board. It's a nepotism thing. Trump's kids have no business being involved in all the foreign business that they're involved in. I don't think that when your parent is president, you should be, it's too much of a conflict of interest. Too much, and favors are going to be. But that's a different video for a different day. But you have him trying to investigate that, and they held up almost $400 million in aid to help Russia, or to help Ukraine not get taken over by Russia. That's a crime. That is totally a freaking crime. As I stated in an earlier video, his chief of staff admitted to it. So, we have that on tape. Yeah, that's been Donald Trump week. Brief summary of Donald Trump's just week of impeachment investigations, and you can see why in just this week how much they have uncovered, which is why I'm discussing it, how much they've uncovered. And they're going to continue to pull evidence. They're going to continue to question people. They're going to continue to get things where Donald Trump is going to continue to look bad. They're going to sum it all up and they are going to release it in their impeachment inquiry when they vote to have an impeachment inquiry and eventually vote to impeach. I think that Nancy Pelosi is playing her cards close to the belt. I'm not a fan of the way she is doing this. I stated that I think she's a coward and she just needs to pump out some of that information because Trump's going to use it against her. It's nothing unusual. And yeah, but please remember that it took almost a year to investigate and impeach Nixon. It took, I think it was like 3 or 4 months to impeach Andrew Johnson, and then it took, what was it, like another 6 months to a year to get to Clinton's information. So these are not things that happen quickly. Impeachment is not something that's done overnight. I do think we will have a vote on impeachment inquiry before Christmas. We will see. I know that there are a couple people that are subscribed to me, hoping that it doesn't so they can rub it in my face. Hi, how you doing? Please watch these videos if you do, because you will actually learn something, because you only watch Fox News and it's ridiculous. Alright guys, I will see you later.